we are getting that much closer to the start of the 2025 calendar year, which means it's time to dial up the Stein line because we are that much closer to the NBA trade deadline as well, which I believe is February the 6th in 2025. And a former Dallas Maverick may be on the move coming to the same division as the Dallas Mavericks. Isn't that right, Mark?
Saturday Night Fever, some real live active trade discussions.
Hey.
So the Memphis Grizzlies are very interested in Dorian Finney-Smith. It is not yet a done deal, but the Grizzlies and the Nets are in active talks. The way the deal would most likely go down, if it comes to fruition, underline if, the Grizzlies have John Conchar, who's a player Brooklyn is very interested in. They also have Luke Kennard's expiring contract. The Nets want at least one first from whoever trades for Dorian Finney-Smith. So if the Grizzlies put a first with those two players, I think, again, if this deal comes to fruition, there would be some level of second-round draft compensation going from Brooklyn back to Memphis. But the Grizzlies are trying. They are trying very hard to get Dorian Finney-Smith, a player who I think is pretty well regarded in this chat room, by the show, by Mavs fans in general. A lot of teams want Dorian Finney-Smith, but to this point, the Grizzlies have been the most aggressive. Will it materialize into an actual trade? I think we will soon get that answer.
The Nets have been firm on this first-round pick portion of this. Like, this is what almost...
I mean, look, at last year's deadline, the talk was they wanted multiple firsts for Dorian Finney-Smith.
Correct.
Didn't happen then, but we've already seen the Nets make a trade. And part of the reason is the East has been so bad, so much worse than anticipated, that a team like Brooklyn, which, remember, Brooklyn got its draft capital back from Houston for this draft. So, like, the Nets being as competitive as they've been, not good for them. The Nets need to be losing. The Chicago Bulls are in the same position. The Chicago Bulls beat Milwaukee tonight. Bobby's Bucks go down to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls
Bucks aren't very good either. Maybe they should
the
trade
Bulls
for some
pick goes to San Antonio if it falls outside the top 10. The only way you can guarantee that your pick is not at risk for sliding out of the top 10, you've got to finish with the 6th worst record in the league, because you can fall four slots in the lottery. So if the Bulls finish with the 7th worst record and then the worst case lottery scenario happens, Chicago would lose. This draft is loaded. You do not want to lose your pick in the 2025 draft. So it's like Chicago's been too good for their own good. The Nets have been too good for their own goods. But we already saw the Nets trade Dennis Schröder, who to that point had been their best player. They traded Schröder to Golden State the first day they could legally make that trade, because DeAnthony Melton, who went the other way from Golden State to Brooklyn, he was not trade eligible till December 15th. That trade went down the first day, and now we're seeing the Nets talking pretty seriously with Memphis, and it's not even January yet. So on one hand, you got a lot of people around the league saying, nobody can make trades, the rules are too strict, the apron. But, we've already seen 2 trades, and we're seeing some pretty real substantive talks on a possible third.
Oh, boy. That's
Did that liven things up at all?
Well, I mean, it's just interesting because of how the rules are structured and how teams are trying to maneuver themselves from Bobby's favorite subject when it comes to tax aprons and luxury tax and everything else. But teams racing to the bottom to either play capture the flag or get their favorite draft pick in this year's upcoming NBA draft, that the Nets and Bulls and teams who are playing fairly competitive basketball feel like they can't be that competitive because otherwise they're going to smoke away draft position. I think it just continues to underscore how the league in some ways operates. Either you need to be really good or race all the way to the bottom like a Washington or somebody else to try to at some point rebuild your franchise, because being stuck in the middle like Chicago has been for the last, 3 or 4 years at this point, doesn't really do you any good.
Can I give a take?
Surely.
This might prove to be wrong. I don't think I like Dorian on the Grizzlies. I don't really think I like him in their system.
As a player or as...
I don't like the fit.
Okay.
That's kind of my first thought.
I don't think that
but
he's a good
I
fit for
haven't-
them.
I have not thought about it enough to feel strongly about
They just
that,
have
but-
they
You don't like the fit, or you don't like the idea of him
no. I don't like the fit.
landing on a team in
Well,
the
I
same
don't think Bobby
division
likes
with your,
either thing.
your
I
Dallas Mavericks.
I like Dorian being on the Mavs, but I don't like Dorian in their system. Everybody drives, everyone attacks the basket, everyone makes plays. It's a lot of read react. It's a lot of space, respace, drive, attack, kick out, respace, and that's just not really Dorian's game. He was always kind of like a catch and shoot guy. And Luke Kennard is kind of like their point. He's like their backup one. He plays a lot of point guard whenever Jaw's in. They're like, Dorian can't really do that. So it's just a big different. It's like a big change for them. So I don't really like that switch.
Memphis's idea must be that, Jalen Wells has literally been their lead POA guy, point of attack guy, for a lot of the season. Obviously, Marcus Smart will fill in, but Marcus Smart does not quite have the size. So the thinking is obviously just like, we need someone to connect the guards that we like and the bigs that we like. We need someone on the defensive end to kind of connect those two and fill in and be okay, this is going to go guard the best, 3 on every team.
Even if it simplifies the offense quite a bit.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a good chance it might simplify the offense. I mean, then again, who else would you go get? I do feel Memphis is a really good team.
I think that Memphis should go get Cam Johnson.
I was going to say Cam Johnson was the name that I was
Every
about to say.
team in the
but
league
is
has
Cam
been named
Johnson the
and linked to
stopper?
Cam Johnson. It feels like at
But
this
is Cam
point.
Johnson the stopper?
Oh, it doesn't matter, dude. He's just so good.
Price point for Cam Johnson, obviously, also
Much more expensive.
Memphis has some picks though,
but more expensive contract too.
Yeah.
We all silly like the mayor.